is below the market value. So if you have money, go ahead with it, but do not make yourself lose. There are also certain strategies, but you have to learn in terms of strategies in order to cut loss. But if you just enter purchase, and then you might become a loser in the game. So basically based on like that fluctuation. Okay. All right. Now we go to our tutorial.
Sorry, Doctor, just one last question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was noticing the Chagama's annual total purchases of mortgage, it fluctuates year by year, right? I was just wondering, when the originators want to sell the mortgage loans to Chagamas, is it a necessity that they buy it, or do they actually reject some of it sometimes? Does the SPV not buy sometimes?
I don't really get what you mean.
Because from the originators, they need to sell them to the SPV, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Are there times when the SPV rejects it and doesn't want to purchase?
Chagamas SPV rejects it. They don't want to purchase.
Yeah.
It's all depend on Chagamas. Okay. Chagamas, they have their own business model. In other words, they determine how much is the maximum loan that they should purchase on any particular point of time. So when it comes to that particular of time, let's say they have limited to 30 million. So as long as, because this is also on first come first serve. So if they get up to 30 millions, that means they stop already. They do not reject, but they have to stop because that is their what we call it budget under the business model. So they do not go beyond 30 million because for this year they only want to purchase 30 million. So the same thing for the following year. If they decided to have only 20 million, that means first come first serve, they will purchase 20 million. They never reject because the loan that they are going to purchase usually good loan already in Malaysia, unlike in the USA because they also have bad loans. But in Malaysia, almost all loans offered for sale to Chagamas are basically a good loan. Okay. Okay, now we go to the tutorial. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the tutorial that we just after, right? Can you see the screen? Oh, I do not share yet. I'll share the screen. Okay, this is the one that tutorial 4, is it? The one that we are supposed to discuss today? Can someone answer? Is this the tutorial question?
This one we have discussed before already.
We already discussed.
Yeah, but then it's not the, how to say, already discussed until the framework, that part already one. Almost finished one, okay. This one.
Almost finished?
Yeah.
Or finished? What do you mean by almost finished?
Incomplete. Incomplete, can say so.
I thought that all the tutorial that we have discussed are completed already. I don't think we have any incomplete question. The only things that I'm not sure which tutorial that we are supposed to discuss. But usually I make sure that all completed. So that means if this one has been discussed, so we should go to the next tutorial question then. Okay. Can you hear me?
Doctor, I think what Likuan mean is that the function, because in bundle system and unbundled system, there are 4 functions, right? And then the originator, how the originator unbundled, we haven't answered that question.
Doesn't mean incomplete. I want you to come up with the answer. So we completed already, but the thing is, for that kind of question, I ask you to come up with the answer, correct or not?
Yeah.
Correct, because you couldn't answer that day. I asked you to find the answer.
Yeah, the question we have answered.
I remember now, origination, only origination, how to unbundle origination. Correct or not?
Yes.
Then can you give me the answer then?
Is that the bundle system, the originator will hold the mortgage, and then unbundle, they will sell the mortgage?
Yeah, but how to unbundle one of the mortgage function, which is originating or origination, to how to unbundle it from bundle system to unbundle. We focus on originating only. The rest, I think we have discussed. I asked you to find the answer for me. You should try to give me the answer. Forget about right or wrong, that different issue. What I need is your answer. If you keep quiet, I will also keep quiet. I told you already, tutorial is your class, not my class. Lecture is my class. I cannot keep quiet during lecture. Tutorial, I can keep quiet, and then you give me the answer, or you can talk whatever you want. If the answer or the thing that you are sharing with the class is wrong, then I will try to correct it. That's the function of tutorial. So, where's the answer? If you do not prepare the answer, I cannot wait. We have to go to the next tutorial and find another question after the next tutorial for you to answer again. MK?
Yes.
So what's the answer?
For me, I think in unbundled system is originator lah, banker. Okay, when go to unbundled system, the work already distribute to the merchant banker or structurer to distribute the loan or arrange the agreement with SPV.
So how to unbundle the origination function?
Because at bundle system, that particular work is done by originator, but unbundled, they make it unbundled to the structurer to arrange the agreement, then sold this full mortgage loan to SPV. That's my answer lah.
Yeah. They sell to SPV. How do they unbundle it? How do you want to relate it?
In this case, I really don't know.
You don't know.
Don't know.
Who can help you? I thought I'm going to belanja you one more tom yum, but now I'm cancelled already.
Lekon, you want the tom yum?
Not really. Okay. Total, I just try lah. Let's start all over again. So we back to the basic is like the bundle system is all the mortgage function will be carried out by in the primary mortgage market, which is the portfolio lender. So the originator, including the originations. So okay, and then when we talking about the unbundled system, okay. So the the last three one has been discussed before during the last classes. But then when I think of the origination again, but still the function is the burden. I said the obligation, the responsibility is still fall on the portfolio lender. So I can't really relate that how come the originations, this function is being unbundled to other parties or to other people, because still in two of this system, the origination, this function is still belong to the portfolio lender, which is the originator. I don't think that there's any unbundle in my way of opinion. Because I think the bundle to unbundle is because the other three already being spread out. But then the origination, this function is still remain the same. So this is my understanding regarding this. So like you asked, how the origination is being unbundled, I really don't get the meaning inside.
Yes, that's the answer. I want to test you. So what do you want now, Lee Guan? You want me to belanja you beef stick, or chicken stick, or lipstick? Which one do you prefer?
I tom yum sedap.
Okay, when I try to understand, try to see whether you understand or not. When I ask you question, you always keep quiet. So something that I twist a bit to see whether you understand or not, you also cannot answer. I don't want to give you any answer. I want you to think.
No, because because Tutor, you ask like the origination is being unbundled. So all of us are very confused already, because we already said that the origination, this function is still fall under the obligation of the portfolio lender. So
yes, I asked you because we have bundle and unbundle, and then origination is one of the mortgage function. So I want to test whether you are okay or not.
Okay.
You're taking so long. If you answer like this before, then I never ask you to ask me to wait until now.
Oh, okay.
So you want beef stick or lipstick? I want to belanja.
Oh, beef stick.
What?
First beef stick.
Okay. So now clear, everyone?
Okay.
Origination. The originator of the housing loan. So the financial institution become the originator of the housing loan, and then until the 35 years period, they will also become the originator. They cannot transfer, but the rest of the the other three functions can be transferred to the third parties who are willing to take the risk. Origination cannot be transferred. So the same like the mortgage that we created with the financial institution, until the end of the 35 years period, that is still our right or our contract between ourselves as purchasers and the financial institution. We cannot change that. No matter what happened to the mortgage that are being sold to Cagamas, to the special purpose vehicle, our contract remain the same. Remain intact until 35 years, unless if we default, you do not pay, or we sell the properties. That means we terminate the loan, and then the originator have to get back the loan from special purpose vehicles, because it will become invalid only because the owner or the purchaser already sold to someone else. And then another new mortgage will be created because we sold to someone else, so another new mortgage will be created if they apply for the loan, and then they can only resell all those loans based on the new value at that time. Okay, now we go to to our, because we already answered tutorial 4, now we answer tutorial 5. This one, I think. Is it this one? Tutorial 5 describes securitization, including the parties involved in the process and the roles they play.
Yes.
Okay, so who want to answer this? There are 3 things here. Who want to answer this? I want to sleep for a while until you speak.
Start with framework.
Huh?
Start with the framework. So the question is I discuss the securitization and then the role of play inside the system. So the framework is start with the meaning definition of securitizations, and then because it asks to describe, so talk a little bit of the function. The function, the why securitization, or can be said like the significance. And then the third one will be using with the add of diagram given in the slide, and then talk about all the parties involved in the process and the role they play. And then conclusion will be say that each role has to rely on each other, work together. Otherwise, the system is considered incomplete, and then the securitization process cannot be carried out. Something like this is my framework.
What do you mean the system is incomplete?
Because each of these role play importance. They have their own responsibility from in this process. So if lack of one, the process is considered deficit, the incomplete lah. So in my way of opinion, the role is this conclusion.
Okay, I agree with you for the first few steps, but the last one I couldn't hear properly because a bit noisy. I hope we will correct later on. So basically, for the first few steps, we can follow that kind of framework. So basically, we have three things that we need to consider here: securitization. So, can you unmute, please, because it's making so much noise. Okay, so we have securitization, and then we have the parties involved, and then we have the process, and then we have the rules. So basically, there are 4 here: securitization, parties involved, process, and then the rules. So as long as you cover all these things, then it should be okay. But unlikely, I will never ask you this kind of a straightforward question. So this kind of question usually I put here for the purpose of discussion to make sure that you understand what securitization is all about for the sake of discussion. But when it comes to any question, especially in the final exam, you have to answer what the question asks you. But as long as you understand all these things, that's why I make sure that you understand all these things. Because if you understand all the basic things here, so no matter how difficult the question is, you should be able to answer. Not only for tutorial 5, but for the rest of the tutorial as well. Usually I just try to cover very simple thing to make sure that you understand the topics that we are actually discussing. So, now who want to answer? Lee Guan, you shout at someone that you think can answer your question. Shout.
Susan.
Susan.
Okay, so first one, definition of securitization. Explain what is securitization? So it is the process of issuance of marketable securities backed by the expected cash flow from specific assets. And then one example of securitization is MBS, mortgage-backed securities.
That's it.
This is the first part of explaining what is securitization.
You know, when the question make it specific, so you should use your own weightage as well. What I mean by weightage here, you should give the weightage in terms of the mark. Let's say the marks is 50%, because you need to answer only 2 questions. So the compulsory one is 50%. The second one, the optional, the section B, which is you can choose either one of the given question to also represent 50%. So if you come out something like this, you know, without the given marks, so you have to assume that it's all 50%. But usually I don't give 50% lump sum like this. Usually I'll give you describe securitization, maybe I give you 15%, and then the second part, the process, maybe I give you 20%, and then the rules maybe another 20%, and one more just now maybe 5%. So all together should comprise about 50%. So because the question already mentioned here, although I do not give you 50%, I do not give you what we call it marks to each of the section, but we have identified that there are 4 things that we have to discuss. So basically you have to cover these 4 things. So each section or each things that we are going to cover will actually should be given weightage on it. So unlike other question like before, when I asked you discuss, I used the word discuss. So basically, I never ask you, about do not concentrate to any particular thing like this one. Ask you to describe the securitization, but discuss something that means something general. When you give definition, so you will get a plus mark. But in this case, you must get at least, if you divide by 4, 50 divided by 4, that means at least about 10 to 15% each. So if you answer by giving me definition and an example like that, out of the 15% you should get, you may be able to get only 2 or 3 only for 15. So you are losing mark. You see what I mean or not?
Yes, doctor.
That's why
I always ask you to come up with framework. You have to justify the framework yourself. Do not simply answer, because towards the end, if you answer too much for one particular section, also it won't help you, because there is a limit. So like this one, maybe 15% each. 15% 4 section will become 60. So maybe one short section just now got only 5 marks, but the total is 50% basically. So you have to justify. Let's say usually if I ask something like this, I'll talk about describe number 1 securitization. I put the marks already, because if I put like this, usually you will miss a lot of marks. So you have to do weightage yourself. How do you do it? It's up to your own justification. As long as you could get marks on that particular section, but do not be too what we call it too much in terms of you spend, because the time given is only 1 hour. So you spend about 20 minutes for one section. That section will only give you 15 marks, for example. You spend about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So how much do you do it to answer that particular section? How good you are, 2 pages, 3 pages, but you still get 50 marks only. You don't get more marks. That's the maximum marks. So that's what I mean by weightage. So you have to answer other question in order to get the marks out of 50. Understand or not? Any question? In terms of marking? In terms of how it works for exam question?
Is usually like each sentence a mark? Is that like a guideline?
No, there is no guideline because different lecturers will have different style of marking. And then we also have different question, not standard question all the time. The question that come out usually differ from time to time. So depends on what dream I had, the night before I come up with the question. So if I have a good dream, that means the question will be very soft, smooth, and easy. But if I had a bad dream, then I will make sure that the question will become very, very difficult.
Doctor, should we like for our answer, should we like for definition part, and then we baru start write the sentence, or just write or doctor, you will determine this paragraph is about what, or we need to specifically saying that this is the definition, and then the next one is characteristic, next one is functions.
Yes. So if we have a separate question, for example, A about synchronization, B maybe function, C maybe process, and D maybe rules. So it's a lot easier for you to answer. But when it comes to securitization like this one, because it's stressed, even without the marks given, lump sum mark 50%, so you must give a good weightage. So now you give me a definition and then example, and then you go to the next question to give the answer. So you won't get much for the first part. So you will get more marks for the longest answer you have given. So basically, the weightage become imbalanced, and then you might think that you do it very well, but you only focus on one particular section. That's the normal thing that some students they appeal, because they think that they do it very well. They do it well, but not all. Only one particular section. We have a limit in terms of the given marks. You could get a full mark for one particular section, even an essay, but you could get a full mark, or you may get higher score. The score is, let's say, the maximum 15 mark, you could get 30 marks. But the thing is, the balance of 15% will be rejected in terms of you have achieved the maximum of 15%. So make sure that you come up with a good balance between all the sections in order to get a full mark. There's a possibility. There are a lot of your senior have given full marks, even for essay. Some of you might think that because this is an essay, not a calculation, so it's difficult to get a full mark. No. Sometimes, not all, but sometimes one or two of the senior got full marks for the question that they have answered. There is a possibility to get full mark, even essay question, even a question in terms of discussion, something like discuss, blah 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 blah, like we have done before. There is a possibility to get full mark. Okay. So can someone answer about securitization? Describe securitization. Because the answer I got just now is very simple from Suzanne. So you will only get maybe less than 5 marks out of the 15 marks. So what is securitization? That's the first thing that you have to answer.
FK,
FK, FK, where are you?
FK,
FK, FK, TW, where are you?
You are calling me TW.
Yalah,
Why FK in front?
I'm calling FK.
That's your nickname.
That's your nickname, what? You told me before.
Oh. You
You still owe me something, FK,
Okay.
Okay, keep going. Answer the question. Huh?
Who answer for describe securitization?
Yes.
So securitization is the issuance of marketable securities backed by expected cash flow from specific assets. This is the definition first, and then we go to the structure of the securitization. So it is typically characterized by SPV, right, an entity, and to raise funds, okay, and then to issue by issuing that securities to.
The one should fall. You're supposed to discuss like that.
Now is securitization differentiation.
Securitization. Explore further. I want to see how far do you understand.
I'm now saying about the definition of securitization. So the process is part C1. That one is the flow, right? The interaction between all the parties and their roles.
Is that the only thing? Is that the only thing that you can give me definition?
Okay, it is the issuance of marketable securities backed by expected cash flows, fund